Right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the webinar for artificial intelligence in pharmaceutical industry. So we're going to talk a lot about AI this afternoon. So we have a group of lovely people attending this webinar along with yourself. Myself is called Zero. So I'm a member of pharmaceutical committee at IMechE, Institution of Mechanical Engineers. Also attending the webinar this afternoon include Claire Edwards, the chairperson of the committee, and the other two members, Aaron and Roy. And we also have presenters, Carolina from Eigengrand and Anania from GSK as well. So we're going to run this webinar this afternoon in this way. So first of all, after this introduction, Aaron will present to you some brief position on AI regarding pharmaceutical industry. Following Aaron, Carolina will do a presentation to you regarding some specific applications of AI in the pharma industry. After that, Anania will deliver a presentation to you to talk about her application of AI in the pharmaceutical industry. And after the presentations, we will have a Q&A panel, which will be your opportunity to ask us questions, and we can have some meaningful discussions, hopefully, as well. So during the presentation, feel free to put your question forward to the chat box, or you can hold your questions for the Q&A session after the presentation time. So now let's welcome Aaron first of all for a presentation on AI in pharma industry.
Thanks, Ziru. As Ziru mentioned, my name's Aaron Blair. I'm a member of the Pharmaceutical Committee with the IMechE. I'm also a process manager working for GSK. So first thing we're going to ask ourselves today is, what is artificial intelligence? Is it more than just ChatGPT writing emails for us, as many people have grown to expect? So the first thing I did was I asked AI for a definition of itself. How it identifies itself is it refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think and learn. So that was a good technical definition. So I asked it again, like, what does that mean in the real world? So it likes to think of itself as a very smart assistant who learns from everything that they see and do. This assistant can analyze tons of information quickly. It can recognize patterns, make informed decisions, and make predictions based on what it's seen before. And the crucial part is, the more it does, the more it learns, and the better it will become. And just on the graphic that's on the screen, I think where we start to see the real benefit of AI or machine learning is when we think about the size of data that we want to analyze, or the dimensionality of the data. So I think as humans, we can process one dimension. If something's good or bad, we can analyze on a graph. If 2 axes is fine, 3 axes is okay. Or in this example, we actually have 4 dimensions of data where we're including color as well. Once we start thinking of more parameters and we start to have 10, 20, 30 dimensions of data, this is where the human brain is at its limit, and we move into artificial intelligence. So the next point is what AI does not do. So let's stop some of the non-truths out there. So AI does not think, feel, or understand like a human. The reality is AI is designed to perform a specific set of tasks. It doesn't possess consciousness, and it doesn't have a general understanding like humans do, where humans can apply context beyond the data that we've been trained on. It doesn't have perfect outputs. AI systems can make mistakes, and this gets exaggerated if we train an AI system on low quality or biased data. And AI is not autonomous, and it is not out of control. Most applications for AI are highly controlled, and they require human supervision or human interaction to trigger the model to do something. So that helps us understand what it isn't. So it's not a human, it's not perfect, and it's not out of control. But what are the types of AI that we're starting to see in our daily lives? And you'll interact with more of these than you probably realize. So we have narrow AI or weak AI, and that'll be in your home through things like voice assistants, recommendations on streaming services, or algorithms on short media apps. We're getting used to machine learning, which is a subset of AI where we train algorithms on data to make predictions or make decisions. Deep learning is where we start to use neural networks with many layers of data, and it's getting into more advanced AI. And one that we're all starting to become more familiar with, particularly in workplaces, I think, is generative AI, where AI is trained in large amounts of data and it can provide users with outputs according to what they've requested. So what are we going to talk about today? So AI and pharmaceuticals. Where do we see AI going in pharmaceuticals? I think the answer, I hope it's not a spoiler, is probably everywhere. I think there are companies throughout the industry, whether that's from drug discovery right through to the end of the supply chain, who are looking at uses of AI. Pharmaceuticals is an industry with lots of data analyzed, and that's where AI thrives. And as we say, we've got everything from discovery, manufacturing, equipment reliability, quality control, or even auditing in the industry as well. So I'm going to pass over to the other presenters, and thank you all for dialing in, and I'll speak to you more in the Q&A.
Right, thank you very much, Aaron. That's a really good presentation. So now let's hear from Carolina on a specific application of AI in improving equipment performance.
Hello, everybody. I'm Carolina. I try to share my screen. Okay, I'm Carolina from IMechE, and we are a company that develops software for the downstream processes, to control downstream processes of pharmaceutical industry. And today we will talk about blending equipped with autonomous AI. In the competitive landscape of pharmaceutical manufacturing, especially the production of solid oral dosage form, ensuring consistent blend homogeneity is critical. Achieving uniform distribution of API and excipients is essential for therapeutic efficacy and to provide safety for the final product. However, traditional blending methods often fall short of this exacting standard. The introduction of PAT has provided a pathway to better process control and real-time monitoring, especially with the help of near-infrared spectroscopy. Despite the availabilities of these advanced PAT tools, often pharmaceutical manufacturers face hurdles in their adoption due to the complexities in integration, validation, and regulatory compliance. The promise of real-time inline monitoring often remains underutilized, and the potential for automation and intelligence in blending processes is largely untapped. Integrating PAT tools in the existing system is often complex and cumbersome. The NAR sensor produces a vast amount of data that requires sophisticated analysis to be meaningful. Manual intervention is often needed to adjust the blending parameters based on data interpretation, which can introduce variability and inefficiency. Meeting the stringent regulatory requirements for process validation and demonstrating constant product quality from batch to batch can be daunting. So comprehensive documentation and validation is necessary, and this complicates a lot the adoption of these new technologies. Current systems lack the capability to autonomously adjust blending parameters based on data read by the sensors. And this results in suboptimal blending times and inconsistent product quality. And this is probably the biggest limit. So what can we do to overcome this limitation? An effective solution should address these key requirements. Integrate PAT tools with existing system to enable real-time data acquisition and processing capabilities. The use of sophisticated analytics, like for example, chemometrics, to handle and interpret large data set, extracting actionable insights from real-time data. maintain thorough documentation for validation, and streamline the approval process with comprehensive data. Implement systems that adjust blending parameters in real time, reducing the need for manual intervention and ensuring consistent quality. Combine chemical data from an IR sensor with physical data from other sensors, providing a comprehensive view of the blending process. And this is the base of a self-supervised approach. And use AI to learn and optimize the process continuously, minimizing operational cost and improving product quality. And this is one of the necessary steps to move from quality by testing to quality by design. But so what would be an ideal solution? Imagine a pharmaceutical production environment in which blending processes are continuously controlled and monitored in real time by an intelligent self-supervised learning system. A system that reads NIR data and makes instantaneous adjustment to the blending processes, ensuring homogeneity and uniformity without the need of any human intervention. This was Simsalabinese, so the first autonomous tumbler blender. Which are the key features of this system? Truly real-time NIR data processing. So we are able to instant analyze the chemical composition of the blend, and we use it to feed advanced machine learning models like a variational autoencoder or LSTM. We use to control an adaptive control with the JEPA architecture that is able to make autonomous adjustment to the blending parameters. We combine chemical and physical data to monitor the entire process. Chemical data come from the NIR sensor, physical data from an IMU, an inertial measurement unit, that gives us the exact position and rotation of the blender. This is our integrated instrument, micronear type NIR measurement sensor embedded with an IMU sensor. This is the architecture and a schematic representation of architecture of our system, in which the sensors are transformed into control. In this case, data are collected, are pre-treated, are analyzed, and are interpreted by our model in real time. The model generates an output. The output is translated into an actuation for the PLC, so the programmable logic controller, that changes in real time the speed of rotation, direction of rotation, and accelerations of the blender. And this is done in a way that he reaches and optimizes the endpoint of the blending with minimum energy and time. And as any deep neural network does, the system is able to learn from experience. So let's dive into the details of our model, the key details, and that starts with the pre-treatment of the data. The most important is our mathematical microscope, so the wavelet transform. We apply the wavelet transform to the pre-processed spectra of the NIR instrument. So we call them mathematical microscope because it sharpens the sensitivity of the near-infrared spectrometer. In this way, it is able to detect subtle variation in blend composition that the traditional methods might miss. And it is able to analyze them at multiple scales, revealing intricate details of the blending process in real time. Here we present our case study. This is an ibuprofen arginine salt blend from Zambon that has 1 API and 6 excipients. This is a complex blend, and the challenge in this case was to find a model that was able to interpret and to determine the dynamic of the blending. The key parameters that we assessed was the total blending energy, the filling degree of the bin, the filling sequence, and the impact of the PSD, so the dimension of the particle size distribution of the components in the blending process. These are the spectra that we had from the NIR sensor at different timestamps. Then we did a pre-processing with traditional chemometrics approach, so the standard normal variate and then the second derivative. And then with that, we fed the wavelet transform. This is our wavelet, the image of our wavelet transform that has a mother wavelet in complex. So here you can see on the upper part, the real part of the wavelet, and in the lower part, the imaginary part. So in this case, we converted the NIR spectra into a chemical imaging. And so we use it to feed the self-supervised learning system. This is a type of adaptive learning in which the model continuously updates its understanding of the blending process through self-supervised learning. It is able to refine the control strategies, minimizing cost function to enhance blend homogeneity and quality. And it is able to make real-time adjustments without human intervention. This is the result of our motion control. So these are the data from the IMU, sorry. And the model is, in this case, changing acceleration and rotation in order to reach the endpoint of blending with minimal energy by maximizing the descending gradient. Here you can see the acceleration, velocity, and magnetic field. And here is the result of what the model calculated to the best pathway to reach the blend homogeneity in the smallest time. Here we have a representation of the JPA model architecture. And we have the perception that estimates the state of the world. We have our model that is able to make the prediction of the future of the world state by minimizing a cost function. The configurator that configure the other models for different tasks. And we have the actor that is able to find the optimal action sequence for the blender. So in order to reach the blending homogeneity. The short-term memory takes tracks of what happens in the world. So it stores the state cost episodes. This is a representation of the convolutional variational autoencoder. So we have the inputs that in this case are the chemical imaging, so our wavelet transform, that it encodes into a latent space. Then the latent space is analyzed, as we will see in the next slides. And we have a decoder that is able to reconstruct the inputs, so our chemical imaging, from the latent space. So you can see that these two images are almost the same. So if the reconstruction is good, it means that the neural network has worked properly. These are the features of the neural network. So we see that we have the graphics for the importance of the features. Here we see that 7 are the most important. And the 7 are the components of our blend, our case study. Once we have calculated the latent space, we can fit this to the dynamic mode decomposition. That is a type of decomposition based on SNV, so singular value decomposition, that has both a spatial and temporal behavior. So we reduce again the dimensionality of our product to some modes. And we analyze a number of variables that is very reduced. And the dynamic mode decomposition has also a future state prediction. So we can make a prevision of what will be the behavior of the system in the next timestamps. To finally see if when the blending reaches the endpoint, so when the blend is homogeneous, we use a type of analysis that is for who of you are familiar with the chemometrics, is the moving block standard deviation. This is a type of analysis that analyzes the deviation normally on the spectra. In this case, we do the moving block standard deviation on the modes. So this is the aggregated one that is weighted on the features of the neural network. So we see that in more or less 60 window index, the standard deviation has fallen down from a threshold. So it means that the variation of the system is almost zero. So the mixture is homogeneous. Here, as an example, we show the moving block standard deviation on different modes. So, concluding, we implemented an advanced neurodynamic control system powered by artificial intelligence. The system can learn data from the sensor to identify patterns and model complex nonlinear interaction that don't need complete deterministic knowledge. This system can adapt to new conditions in real time, and they offer predictive insights, so they make the provision and provide proactive control action, compensating for the limitation of traditional control methods and the lack of first principle understanding. So in this case, we can find the endpoint of the mixture, and we can measure the homogeneity of the mixture without the need of laboratory analysis. So people from the lab can eat a sandwich.
Right.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Carolina, for the presentation.
Thank you.
So now, if we welcome Ananya for a presentation on the use of AI technologies.
Thank you, Zero. Hi, everyone. I'm going to share some of the examples from GSK. I'll just share my screen. So before diving straight into the examples, I'd like to brush up on some of the key concepts and the terms that we'll be talking about in those examples. So AI, artificial intelligence, in general, we consider it to be computers imitating human-like abilities. It is anything that we think a computer can't do until it actually starts doing it. After it starts doing what we think it couldn't have done, we just call it a piece of software. Rather, it's AI in that term. AI is of two types, can be distinguished into two basic categories. One is the fictional AI, fictional science fiction, which we see in the movies. It is the general AI, what we think AI will do in the future. Whereas functional AI is a science fact and what AI is doing right now, how AI is being implemented in various industries, namely pharmaceutical, because we are discussing this. Since humans have a lot of abilities, unimaginable number of abilities, capability, the scope of AI is unimaginable as well. Three basic abilities that AI is implementing right now, replicating what humans do, is the example of natural language processing, where the computers imitate the hearing and speech behavior of humans, converting speech to text, giving it a meaning, and then extracting out the sentiment, and vice versa. The second form of AI is computer vision, which is computers replicating human ability of sight, vision, recognizing images and videos, extracting useful information out of them. The third form of AI is machine learning, which is computers' ability to think and improve with corrective feedback and experience. My first example concerns with computer vision, a form of AI. It is using vision systems to screen defects on a manufacturing line. What does these systems do? These systems analyze product images and classify them into normal or a suspected defect. Why do we need these systems? These systems, the products that are being manufactured are being assembled and packed at a rapid pace. So these systems can provide an additional safety layer to in-process checks when pharmaceutical product is being manufactured, so that we can ensure that we deliver safe and superior quality products to our patients. How is this technology or system implemented? It uses deep learning, deep neural networks to classify these product images. And deep neural networks are nothing but an imitation of how we think the human brain works. Computer vision, on the other hand, I am sorry. Computer vision, this principle, on the other hand, is based on a principle of, this example is based on a principle of convolutional neural networks for image classification. And when I talk about convolutional neural networks for classifying the image of the products, I'd first like to highlight what the architecture looks like. It consists of convolutional layer. The entire neural network is made up of input layers, convolutional layers, pooling layer, and then a normal neural network to classify the image. What is the function of each layer? For the convolutional layer, it tries to detect the patterns in the data set that you've supplied and filters out some of the important features and scores features on the basis of their importance. The pooling layer then retains those important features, reducing the data complexity, reducing the dimensionality of the image data. After passing through the pooling layer, data goes through the fully connected layer, which classifies this simplified data, this simplified image data, into its classification categories. The way we train this model is the way we build this model is we first train it with a training data set, which consists of images and what the image is of, what class it belongs to. We give the model a labeled data set. So we give an input and its associated output. The input here is the image. And then the model, the neurons within the model change their weights. Weights are the technical term for any numerical parameter the neurons have. They change their weights, and then on the basis of the training data set, the weights are assigned to each neuron within the neural network. Then we test the model after it is being created, after the weights are being assigned. We test the model with a test data set, which helps us assign an accuracy score to the model. If we're fine with the accuracy score, we're satisfied with the model rightly classifying the images into a defect and a correct normal product, then we don't retrain it. We just use it for classification. Otherwise, we train the model with a better data set that can enhance the model's accuracy. The second example that I'll be talking about is pattern detection. Is a machine learning application. Machine learning is a form of AI, and the example is based on machine learning. So it is detecting patterns in alarm occurrences. What are alarm occurrences? And what is this concept? So this algorithm, or a piece of code, detects patterns in the machine stoppages that happen on the manufacturing lines. Why do we need it? Manufacturing lines experience varying machine stoppages and performance issues during production. So this algorithm can detect frequent patterns in the machine stoppages. The machine stoppages that are related to each other would be clubbed into one cluster, and then it'll make it easier for us to identify the cause to that pattern of alarms that is happening and better target the root cause and solve the problem of performance on the lines. How is this example or is this code implemented? It is implemented using unsupervised machine learning, a form of AI, to group similar patterns of alarms into one cluster. Machine learning that is used here is unsupervised, as I stated before. So we use DB scan. It is an algorithm, a machine learning algorithm that does the job for us. Since the data, before going into and explaining the entire example, I would like to explain what the data set would look like. For this example, each machine stoppage, for example, just to highlight, alarm and machine stoppage are the same thing. Each alarm or machine stoppage that happen on a manufacturing line is associated with a timestamp. So we first calculate the proximity of a certain machine stoppage to other machine stoppages. For example, if alarm A has happened, we'll try calculating its proximity from itself from another machine stoppage B, C, and D. So if a manufacturing line experiences 500 different kinds of alarms, unique alarms, the dataset will have 500 different features, which means a lot of feature for a clustering algorithm or a machine learning algorithm, a lot of dimensions. So to reduce these dimensions to a much more compact feature space, we use principal component analysis, a form of dimensionality reduction algorithm that reduces 500 columns in a data set to about 10 or 15, depending upon your data set and its specifications. Then, after reducing the feature space, we apply DB-scan, density-based spatial clustering, to cluster these alarms that behave similarly or happen all together. These alarms that happen frequently together or nearby to each other. And after applying the algorithm, we will, as you can see in the colored figures, if you take one of the figures on the down left corner, there each point here represents an alarm or a machine stoppage that has happened on a manufacturing line, and it has clubbed the blue, the purple things, the purple dots are the alarms that do not belong to any group, whereas the colored ones belong to a certain group, behave similarly, happen near or close to each other all the time. And this is how we cluster them and club them together. After we've clubbed them, it will make the job easier for anyone investigating a certain problem on the performance issue on the line to find the root cause easily and solve the problem. That's it for the examples from my side. I would like to now invite Zero to initiate the discussion further.
Right. Thank you very much, Ananya, for the presentation. It's brilliant. So now we are into the panel session for questions and answers. So I introduce panelists, Ananya, Carolina, who are both presenters, Aaron, who presented earlier, and Roy as well. So I actually haven't seen questions raised from the audience. So if I may just call it out, please don't make it too easy for us. Okay. So yeah, do ask questions, please, if you have any, and yeah, we will be more than happy to answer them. But so in the meantime, Claire has kindly offered some kickoff questions. So maybe ask the kickoff questions to start with. Okay, so just to keep it going. So right, so a question: as an engineer in the pharmaceutical industry who is new to artificial intelligence, where can I find out more information to upskill myself on AI? So I'm asking the panel, who would like to pick up that question? Any volunteers?
I think there
Come
are
on, Ananya, go ahead.
I think there are a lot of resources available everywhere. You can ask AI itself. You can go to Chat GPT and ask about itself, just the way Aaron did. That I think that was a fab job of asking AI itself of how it believes what it is. And then there are a lot of resources available on LinkedIn, YouTube, everywhere. But to start with, learning anything about any major concept about AI, it would be understanding what it is and um, understanding what do you feel about it. Just introspecting within yourself. What do you feel about it, and do you fear about it? Do you fear AI? Are you curious about it? It's just introspection that leads to further curiosity and just reading about everything, and it is all available everywhere on the internet.
I think just building on those points, then I think my first bit of advice would be for anyone that's new to this is don't be intimidated by it. I think the gap between someone who is new to data or analytics or AI and some of the stuff you've seen today is probably not as big as you think. I think particularly people from engineering backgrounds thrive in this area. It's an area where good logical approaches to problem solving, ability to be comfortable around numbers and data, there are a lot of synergies between the areas, and I think that's why we see engineers do well in this area. I think that the first steps are get comfortable with data. We all in engineering backgrounds work with processes, equipment. We're capturing data all the time. The challenge you have to give yourself is think bigger than what's currently happening right now. Don't worry about what the current number is in the machine. Think about how has that value changed over a very long time, and then start to think bigger. What other inputs are there? What other data can you get your hands on? And then start to think, are they related? Are they not? How are they interconnected? And then start to build on your engineering problem solving skills of, once you've got those insights from analyzing more data than you could on your own, then how do you start applying that to the real world? And I think, as Ananya said, I wouldn't underestimate how amazing some of the free resources out there are. You don't need to spend a lot of money to get started in this area. There are a lot of very high quality programs and a lot of people willing to share their knowledge online, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, anything like that. To get started is definitely more than enough.
Yeah, I agree with both Aaron and Ananya. Most people think that that is magic. Artificial intelligence is magic, but it's not true. There is a mathematical under study, and so if people start to learn what mathematical algorithms are behind that, they can see that it's something that is very far from magician. And so, as Aaron and Ananya said, there are a lot of material that you can find in internet, YouTube, where you can start for.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant answer from all three of the panelists. The AI technology is something, yes, good for us to embrace. Yes, there are loads of information available out there, and don't be scared of it. So yeah, go and explore and drive yourself towards it. So that's the advice. Yeah, fantastic answer. So now we finally started seeing questions coming through from the audience. So question to Carolina: Do you have a laboratory? So I'll leave this question with you, Carolina.
Yes, we have a machine, so a small blender that we used for the test, because our algorithm works on self-supervised learning, but it needs a training. So we did the training in our laboratory with a lab blender.
Yeah, so I didn't expand the list. Actually, there were more to it, the question. Sorry, Carolina. So the question goes on. So where customers can test their product?
Yes, they can test it because, for example, with Zambon, we did the test in our lab, and they also did the test with our lab blender. So yes, the reply is yes.
Yeah. So yeah, good. Yeah, thank you, Carolina, for the answer. We got the next question coming from Graham. Hi, great presentations. Thank you. I have recently graduated with an MSc in AI, as well as that means Master of Science degree in Artificial Intelligence. And I am based in Aberdeenshire. I have an interest in early detection of disease as well as treatment. Are you aware of opportunities local to me in this field? So local means local to Aberdeenshire. Warmest regards, Graham. So anyone wants to pick up that question? I suppose, well, for me, so I'm not local to the area, so I'm not sure if I can offer any specific advice in terms of local opportunities. But I'd like to link it to what Aaron, Anania, and Carolina answered to the first question. So do explore the information online regarding AI AI opportunities. So if I'm thinking of around somebody having a degree and probably looking to forward to their career, maybe keep an eye on job advertisements or research opportunities online, and so yeah, so that's what I can advise. So yeah, so anyone wants to add anything to it?
Yes, I think looking online is probably the best way to find them.
Yeah, and also do reach out to IMechE as well. I think IMechE has a very very good engagement with the wider industries. So IMechE is partnering with a lot of companies and organizations. So do reach out to IMechE, check on IMechE's website, and yes, ask for help and advice. So yeah, thank you for that question. Also, we got the next question coming up again to Carolina yourself, please. So, could Zambon laboratory you mentioned
Yes.
can transfer the blender knowledge to other Zambon laboratories in the world?
Yeah, if I understood well the question, so the model needs a training that is a general training on blending. Then there's a specific training for the type of blend, blend, and the model can be reproduced on different blenders of different sizes. So one of the advantages of artificial intelligence, or let's say machine learning, is that the scale up is faster and easier from one size to another. So yes, we can reproduce it in different laboratories of the same company.
Okay. Thank you very much for the answer, and thanks for the question. The next question we got coming up is probably more related to the logistics of the session. The question is, I suppose the recording will be shared by email after this webinar. I'm actually not sure on that, so I may have to lean on the team in the background. So any answers from any answers from the facilitators in the background for these sessions? Are we going to share the recording of the event? Yeah, okay. So we got great answer from Fiona, who helps us running the session in the background. The answer is yes, it will be shared automatically. So, okay, fantastic. Yeah, thank you for the answer. So yeah, yes, it's really good going. So please keep going and asking us questions. So if you haven't got more questions in the meantime from the audience, but please keep asking if you got any. So if I can again, pick up questions from the background, which clearly helps us to set the scene. So what is IMechE doing around the topic of AI? So as this is IMechE organized the event, and we have members from the pharma committee from IMechE, on this. So yes, any Any answers from the panel around what IMechE is doing around the topic of AI?
Yeah, I think the first thing is that it's a growing topic everywhere, and IMechE have embraced that. It's if you look on the IMechE website, you'll see that there are some introduction training courses for AI for engineers. I think we'll see a growing amount of applications of use of data and use of AI in the engineering professions from now on. I think it'll become an expectation for everybody. And yeah, I think that's where we're at the moment. It's encouraging people to learn more, encouraging people to see what's out there. I think the more engineers that get involved, we'll see the potential of what AI can do for engineering grow. And yeah, I think it's about getting more people involved, and that's what the position is at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's a great summary. As a member of IMechE myself, I think definitely echo what Aaron has said. So I think this webinar is a brilliant example of what IMechE is doing with AI. So we are aware of the technology. We are involved in it, and we want engineers to be involved in it, and we and we are here to help. Yeah, we're here to help as well. So yeah, we've got the next question coming up from the audience. Could AI be used also in other pharmaceutical machinery, such as granulation? So I suppose probably Carolina, you're still in the best position to answer that question.
We started with granulation. So the type of control that is probably big for blending is because we come from granulation. So we started to use machine learning and artificial intelligence in order to solve the problems of granulation. That is the multidimensionality of the system. So the system is governed by a lot of variables. It's impossible to apply the first principle to control it. So now it runs normally with a recipe, a fixed recipe. So yes, our main interest is in granulation, high shear wet granulation, blending, and also drying.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Carolina, for answering the question. Yeah. So I suppose I just pick another question from the background. So where AI is being used for quality verification of product or quality control mechanisms, are regulators wary or accepting of the new technology? So what we think of our pharmaceutical regulators' position is when it comes to AI technology? Anyone knows from the panel?
I think as far as what I've seen so far, I think we're still in a difficult place with the regulators cooperating as to if AI can make certain decisions, because some of the decisions that are being made using AI or can be made using AI are, I mean, this is an industry that directly impacts patients. So it is, I think we're still in a very difficult place as to can or cannot we use AI in better or quality driven decision making, or using it in that aspect. We're still in a difficult place, but we're evolving.
So Anania called out some challenges, particular challenges we have. We're in a highly regulated working environment. So I think it would be a lie if we say it's easy that we can just do AI. So we need to be aware of the regulations and the challenges to resolve. So anything, Carolina, you want to add?
Yeah, more or less we experience the same as Ananya said. Now I think the USP 1039 is coming that started assessing chemometrics approach and also artificial intelligence. So the regulatory is evolving in that direction. So probably it's the beginning, but it seems that the direction is that one.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you for that. So yeah, there are challenges, but we're heading on the right direction. Yeah, and so yeah, it's a definitely an achievable goal using AI technologies in our industry. Yeah. So yeah, good. So yeah, I suppose a similar question. So what do we think of our senior business leaders positions when it comes to taking on new technologies like AI? So do we think we get their buy-in, or do we think they are reluctant? So what's the panel's view? So I'm gonna ask you, Aaron. So
Yeah.
what's your view on it?
I'll answer this one carefully. So yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement in the industry around AI generally. Obviously, we're at the moment in media, we're hearing from all sectors and all businesses about the benefits of AI and how it's driving value and improving outcomes for whether that's profits or whether that's just how people cope working through their day and using AI as an assistant. I think there's a big appetite from leadership, certainly where I work, to explore and be curious and try and find as many use cases as possible. And I think we're seeing that in how, if you look at the job market in pharmaceuticals, you'll see that there's a big appetite for people with skills in this area. So I think it shows that companies are investing in it, they believe in it. And as we've covered today, I think it's going to hit every part of the industry from the beginning right to the very end. So yeah, I think it's the sponsorships there, the beliefs there, and it's about getting the right people involved who are going to go and show the potential that AI has to really transform not just this industry. I think every industry is going to be revolutionized within the next sort of 5 years.
Yeah, so I think I definitely agree with you, Aaron, on it. So what I'm seeing is that we have a role to play as well. So AI technology is not going to be given. So we can hope senior leaders to give us as much as we like, but we've got a role to play. So that is related to what is the technology, right? How useful it is, what is the user case, and where can we use it? What is the feasibility of it? So we as engineers, I think the work that we need to do to push business as a support on AI technology. So that's how I see it. But I think as Aaron you said, I think the awareness is there. So we have seen engagement, we've seen sponsorship from business leaders. So yeah, but it's not going to be easy. There are still challenges that we need to resolve, obviously. So so anything, yeah. So Aaron,
I think that's yes, you're right. The role we play, I think anyone who works in the area is getting across what the important bits are if we are going to see the full value and the full potential. I think getting the foundations right, having the importance of having available data, good quality data. A lot of the times the tools and algorithms are only as good as the data they're trained on. So data infrastructure and data availability will become, and already are, big topics in the industry, as I think we're hearing about value from other industries. Companies and leadership obviously want that as quick as possible, but sometimes we may have to there'll be lots of instances where we may have to take a step back, get some foundations in place, and then we'll see where we can go from there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, great answer on that, Aaron. So I'm conscious of time, so we're running into the last 5 to 6 minutes. So I think we've got space for one last question. And actually, we have got one more question from the audience. Maybe it's for Carolina, for yourself again. What happens with machine validation when the machine is an intelligent machine, and how validation is done?
Validation has to be done again. This is sure, because something changes. What we as I said before, the regulation is still ongoing. So we are still doing the validation processes, but what we can put in the model are constraints in order to not go outside the boundaries or what are the limit indicated by the original validation. So it has to like, for example, for the PLSR. So we are doing the labeling of the data, like for example, as we do for the PLSR.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for the answer. So yeah, I think that has been fantastic, I think, in this webinar. So I'd like to just comment on, just in general, so this is an IMechE Pharmaceutical committee organized webinar. So for those of you who are among the audience, please be aware, of IMechE as an organization, institution of mechanical engineers. Do get in touch with us, to log on to IMechE's website. We do have loads of information there, related to AI and also related to a wider range of mechanical engineering subjects. So please do reach out if you have got any questions, any queries, or if you'd like to get involved. And we'll be looking to do more to help the engineers and the industry as well. So I just wanted to say a quick and really big thank you to all the presenters and the panelists, Aaron, Anania, and Carolina, for your contribution to this webinar. And a big thank you to those of helpers in the background, which may not be seen directly by the audience, but Roy, Claire, and Fiona in the background. They have been really helpful for us to making this webinar to happen. And also big thank you to all the audience attending the webinar. Thank you for your interest, and particularly thank you for your meaningful questions, which help us to have a meaningful discussion and help to make us think. And so yeah, so well done everybody, and wish you a good day and a good week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.